freezing our crucible sort of double act, which is good to see. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, although there are obvious similarities, we're not both born to run, but we are both from Sheffield, are we not? So it's great to welcome you. And I mean, just for everybody's benefit, I mean, just to sort of underline your achievements at the grand old age of 25, you are the current world and European Heptathlon champion, 3 gold medals, a great story to tell. I think we're going to sort of investigate a little bit today, and also emerging as the face of the 2012 Olympics. So, in fact, I see you on the tube every morning, I feel. But, anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you again to welcome Jessica Ennis? Thanks very much. Right, we're going to jump straight into some questions, if that's okay. And just sort of to try and sort of have about 30-40 minutes of good chat about the road to 2012, Sheffield, what it feels like to be part of 2012, which is a really big thing. So Claire Murphy from PR Week would like to ask you to ask the first question.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about being the British face of the Games in 2012?
More than anything, I feel that it's a massive honour. I always say that, you know, missing the last Olympics and having that injury and, you know, missing being part of that whole experience really makes me appreciate the position I'm in now. If someone would have told me back then, you know, when I was injured and sat at home watching that, you know, you'll be the face of the next Olympics and, you know, looked at to achieve great things, then, you know, I would have grabbed it with both hands. So more than anything, it's an honour than pressure or anything like that.
And you've got an inside track in terms of what's coming, in terms of the new Olympic facilities, the whole buzz that's going to sort of really come to the UK. I mean, give us a sense of what can we look forward to, do you think?
No, it is really exciting. It's hard to imagine, you know, the buzz that's going to be around. And like you say, it's not just London. You can already feel it around the whole country, and, you know, especially in Sheffield. Yeah. But it's great. Just, you know, I go down to the track every day, and there's always groups of kids down there, and, you know, they're really excited about it all. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in schools around the country, in Sheffield particularly.
I mean, it's an interesting point, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's London 2012, but it's actually a UK-wide event. I mean, what can the rest of the country look forward to, do you think?
Just being a part of it, it's going to involve the whole country. You know, we're going to have holding camps around, you know, different cities, and everyone can be a part of it. You know, whether you're coming down to volunteer or, you know, bidding to get tickets to come and watch. You know, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for most people. So, yeah, just, you know, for everyone to be part of it, it's great. Yeah,
and is there a sort of, in terms of, I mean, let's introduce a city like Sheffield. I mean, obviously that's our home city, but your home city in terms of, you know, kind of Sheffield, made in Sheffield, in terms of there's a big athletic sort of community and industry. I mean, how's the city preparing?
Yeah, really well. I mean, I feel so fortunate that, you know, we had the World Student Games, because I think that having an event like that in the city, you know, created that amazing stadium, that iconic stadium where, you know, attracted the, you know, camps for children who, you know, wanted to get involved in athletics, and that's where I started. So it's been great for me, but, you know, you can see that everyone's really, you know, putting in effort to create a legacy after the Olympics as well.
Okay, Martin Moulton, I think, has put a question in.
Hi, Jess. Well, first of all, from someone from Sheffield, just to say how proud we are of you and what you've achieved, and hopefully what you're going on to achieve in London. So, I just want to really get from you. You mentioned about Don Valley and the influence and importance that had on your starting your career. How important have the new facilities at the IS been to in terms of your development from being a good athlete to being a world-class athlete?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously having Don Valley at the start of my career was brilliant, because that, you know, you've got your indoor straight and everything. It's a really good facility. But then when the IS was built, it was just, you know, a whole new world, and it just creates a really nice environment. There's not just athletes there, but, you know, we've got the British boxers, the divers that are there. So it's like multi-sport. So you learn a lot from each other, which is nice. But yeah, the 200-metre track, you've got everything you need. You've got the gym with you can do all your Olympic lifts, everything you need, which is fantastic, and also all the staff that work there as well that are brilliant. So yeah, that's been a massive part of my success, I feel.
I mean, when you mentioned multi-sports, I mean, that's part of what you are in terms of being a heptathlete, and of course, you know, for those of us that are the sort of couch potatoes that watch you on the TV rather than the track, I mean, we've got a great sense of the build from one sort of sport to the next. How does that feel when you're actually there? I mean, are you aware of the sort of the build-up of support when you're sort of involved in these really closely fought contests?
I think when you're actually there at a competition competing, you kind of forget everything else. You forget that there's cameras zooming around and all the people that are watching, and you're kind of just in your own world. But it's after, when you finish, that you realise the amount of support you have, and coming home from championships.
Do you watch the sort of the recordings? Because there's some great imagery of you that's sort of used with the flags and all that.
Well, when I got back from Barcelona, I watched some of it, because I sit down and watch it with my coach, and we go through areas that could have been better. But yeah, no, it made me so nervous, because just the BBC commentary team, she's really got to do it now, or she doesn't, it's all gone. And I was there thinking, oh my gosh, so I was so glad I didn't obviously see any of that while I was out there.
Yeah, and in terms of, just for people in the street, obviously things like the tickets have gone on sale. The build is definitely here and now, isn't there? What sort of I'd like to say what people can expect from the UK hosting the Olympics. How will it be different from a Beijing or a Athens Olympics, do you think?
It'd just be bigger and better.
Even than Beijing?
Yeah, definitely, it's got to be. I think we've put so much into this Olympics. All the athletes are training really hard, and they have been for the past 4 years, and they're going to put on an amazing show. I know from the athletic side we've improved year on year. Each championship we've built on and improved medal wise. So I feel that the athletic side is going to do fantastic, and obviously with the cycling and swimming doing so well in Beijing, everyone wants to build on that.
Okay, great. Tom Degan, have we InsideTheGames.biz? How are you, Tom?
Hi, Jess. You've pretty much already answered my question, so I'll put a bit of a different spin on it. But what's your sort of personal take on being the golden girl of 2012? And if you had the option, sort of at this stage in your career, would you rather not be, so you could focus on your preparations a bit more out of the public eye, or do you sort of enjoy it and the opportunities it gives you to give back?
I think I enjoy it. I wouldn't change the position that I'm in. I think everything happens for a reason. I think even though I hated the injury at the time, I think that was a big part of kind of making me the athlete I am today. So I wouldn't change anything that's happened in the past, and it's nice to be in that position. And like I said before, I don't feel that it's just me. I don't see that it's just my face that is about the Olympics. I think there's so many other athletes that are going to do amazing things.
You need to visit Putney Station, Jess, and you'll see you very much are the face as well. What about, let's talk about, you're from the Steel City, the Sheffield City. What do you think that city's given you? It's worth saying to everybody that actually one of the things that Jess has recently become is a brand ambassador for the city. Tell us a little bit about what you think the city's done for you.
I think obviously, I was brought up in Sheffield and studied in Sheffield, and that's where my whole athletic career started. So I have a lot to thank the city for. There was offers to go to other cities and get scholarships to go to America and that kind of thing.
But and so why not go? Why not go to Florida?
Well, I went to see facilities, and they do have amazing facilities in America. But for me, I just couldn't see any need. The weather's great, but everything else. Definitely over there. No, but everything I needed was in Sheffield, in the city, and through to facilities, education, great coaching. And I just thought, my setup's so great, why would I change it?
Is there anything in the character, you think, in terms of the sort of person you turned out to be growing up in a city like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, obviously, a lot to thank my parents for bringing me up the way I am, but I think generally just Sheffield people are just really warming. They are down to earth. They don't let you get carried away with your position or anything. No, not all. My neighbours will say to me, "Oh, are you still doing that running?" It's just like typical Sheffield people, but it's great, and that's what you like. You don't want people to put you on that pedestal. You want people to be honest with you.
Yeah. Do you think that there's anything in terms of what does sport do for a country like the UK? Is it just a case of 2 weeks of events and that's it, or do you think there's more that we're going to get out of it as a nation?
Yeah, I think there's so much more. I think one of the biggest things is role models. I think the Olympics will create and you know, put sports people right up there as great role models that they are. And I think that will influence a lot of younger children which will want to get involved in sport, and now there's that structure and the programmes in place for them to really succeed as well, and the facilities obviously as well.
Yeah, and do you think, I mean, just comparing things like the Olympics to other sort of professional sports, I mean, do you think there's a sort of a different type of role model that an Olympian brings to the table, or is it just generally sports people?
I think that each sport brings a different kind of role model, but the Olympics, you know, it's that amazing sporting event, you know, that's your ultimate achievement. I think, you know, to win an Olympic gold medal is phenomenal. So yeah, I think it creates a really special
I mean, presumably for all of the Team GB sort of athletes, I mean, winning it in London in 2012 is going to potentially be the biggest moments of your careers, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having Olympics and going to an Olympics is a massive thing, but having it in your home country is, yeah, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you've really got to grab it with both hands and make the most of it.
I mean, I went yesterday, and for the first time in quite some time, I caught the train from Liverpool Street, so I saw the whole of the village. Have you been down to have a look at it in terms of what's happening?
The last time I went was last year in January, so obviously, you know, it was still a lot needed to be done, the seats weren't in or anything like that, but it looked amazing then.
Yeah.
And obviously I've seen pictures on the news and stuff like that, but I don't really want to go down until it starts. Yeah.
And is that part of the whole psyching up process of just sort of?
I think every athlete's different. I think some athletes would want to go down and train on the track and get used to it, but for me, I want it to be all new, really fresh.
So that will be so the next time you go, presumably will be when you're racing.
I hope it's going to be very close to the time when I'm racing, yeah, because I do want it to be fresh, and I think when it's all new, it brings that extra nervousness to you, and yeah, I think I like it.
I mean, and in terms of, I mean, obviously Brendan alluded to the fact that there's a fairly major citywide investment that Sheffield are making in its programme for 2011 and so on. What's the point of that? Do you think? I mean, you know, presumably you become a successful athlete without a whole load of investment in new facilities and so on. Talk us through why it's important that a city should invest in facilities like these.
I think it's important because, you know, you although you have talented sports people and children or athletes that are coming through, you need that support to keep people in the sport. You know, you have lots of changes throughout your life, and a lot of athletes at younger ages drop out through, you know, perhaps more funding going into other sports that they're interested in, or, you know, different sides, boys going out, that kind of thing. So you need that support to really keep you in the sport, and to help you move from junior level to a senior level, because that's where a lot of people drop out.
And does that actually produce more athletes? I mean, does that actually create a wider spread of people that get involved, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, you have to invest to get a reward out, and if you put more money in and more support, then, you know, more kids are going to get involved. You create better role models, and then you allow the process to come in from junior, senior, and up to, you know, world level a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay. Has anybody got any questions they want to throw in at this time?
I've got a question.
You have. Okay. Right.
My name is Charlotte Hastings. I want to know what your average training day is like. What you do, you know, do you have an enormous breakfast and then go running for hours? What do you do?
And we'll compare notes after.
Well, I have a fry in the morning. No, I do 2 sessions a day, so I train 6 days a week and I have 1 rest day. Thursday's normally my rest day, but yeah, I'll go to the track in the morning and do like a 3-hour session.
What does that involve? What's 3 hours?
Well, it varies each day. Every week's the same, but every day is different. So I'll do, you know, a typical Monday would be like a running session, drill work, and then I come back in the afternoon and do a technical session, which would be high jump or hurdles and weight sessions, and there's just so much.
Does it hurt?
Yeah, it does. Well, the hardest bit is when you've had a break, so, you know, at the end of the season when you've had a couple of weeks off or 3 weeks off, and then you come back and your body's kind of relaxed a bit, and then that's when your muscles just, they hurt, you can't walk downstairs properly, and it's really painful, but you get used to it.
Yes, love to say I know how you feel. But when you're leading that kind of a disciplined life, do you ever get a sense of missing out on other stuff? Like,
I think perhaps a bit when I was younger, when I was kind of sixth form age. But now I just feel really lucky, and I'm in a fantastic position. And you know, what was my hobby is now my career, and you know, I absolutely love it. So.
And how long can you keep going on that sort of career? I mean, is it,
well, obviously in sport it is a short career.
Yeah.
I think heptathletes tend to peak mid to late 20s. But yeah, I still feel like I'm quite young, so I hope that I've got a few more years left.
Have you got a favourite sport? I mean, which one of the disciplines that really sort of is your strength?
Definitely the hurdles and the high jump are two of my favourites.
Yeah, great. Anybody got any other questions? Yes, sir, at the back.
Just picking up really on that, you talked about your two favourites. Which are the ones that give you the real nightmares when you're in a competition level? Which do you worry about the most?
The 800 metres. That's the one that's always on my mind.
Why is that? Is that because of the distance?
Yeah, it's because all the other events are speed, explosive, and I'm more of a speedy athlete. And the 800 is obviously more endurance, 2 laps, and at the end of the heptathlon, you're in pieces already, and then a lot lies on the 800. You have to make sure you're staying ahead of people, and then obviously the medal at the end of the day. So
how important has family been for you in terms of being a champion?
Yeah, I think a massive part. It's hard when you're younger. You rely on your parents a lot to take you to events and take you to training and buy you all the equipment and clothes that you need. And my parents were really supportive. They were there, but they didn't push me too much, and I think that's a really big part of it.
Did they always? I mean, did they have any sense of where this all might lead? Do you think?
I don't think they did, to be honest. I think that my mum still says to me, I can't believe you're that little girl running around now, you're a world champion. I think they, more than anything, they just wanted me to have a hobby that was, something that I enjoyed, that was healthy and, entertaining for me, and they were just happy that I was happy.
I mean, presumably they're going to be in London to see you, are they?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Have they applied for their seats?
Yeah, everyone's applying for their seats.
Good to hear. Good. Right, okay, well let's start to think about wrapping up a bit in terms of this sort of, I mean, there is a legacy here, isn't there? I mean, there's life for these 2 weeks. I mean, I'm sort of interested in what happens after the Olympics for the UK, do you think? I mean, is it going to be the sort of like a hangover after the party, or does it give us something to sort of springboard into?
I hope it will give us something to springboard, and I think it will. I think, we are creating things now, and it's like the academies that have been set up, and I think it's more of the younger level, the grassroots level, that's really going to influence, and I think it will create a massive legacy.
Brilliant. I mean, do you think people are making enough of it yet? I mean, do you think that there's a sort of a genuine gripping of the Olympics? I mean, do we even understand what we could do with it?
I think so. I think it's really coming to light now. I think it really feels real now. I think, we have spoken about it for a long time. But it is right around the corner now, and I think it's really beginning to take shape.
Any thoughts on the medals tally for the?
Oh, ask our head coach, or I don't know. I mean, I hope we improve on Beijing, and I think we will.
And we had a good Olympics there, didn't we?
Yeah, brilliant Olympics.
And are there any kind of hot sports that we should be watching out for? Do you think?
Athletics.
And on that note, Jess, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming on. Jess, thanks for a great interview, and we're looking forward to watching you all the way on the road to 2012. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. Jess Reynolds.